and its solutions. Thanks for attending. My name is Amy Babcock, and I'll be your moderator today. But before I introduce our webinar guest, I'd like to take a moment to tell you about Silver Planet. Very simply, Silver Planet helps boomers guide their parents to age in place by offering specialized professional consulting on related products and services. Additionally, our expert writers provide the latest information on scams, housing, financial planning, caregiving, spirituality, elder law, health, and the new tech tools that help seniors live in their own home for as long as possible. And now to our guest. I'm going to tell everyone a little bit about Ora. She is a Silver Planet contributor. Ora DeMorrow is an experienced and highly successful business and market development professional who has spent her career developing key channel and technology partner relationships that are critical to success in the high-tech communications industry and building solid marketing programs for both large and small corporate entities. Ora is the owner and president of ID Security Solutions, a services company focused on protective identity theft and fraud solutions for individuals, small businesses, and corporate enterprises. She is a certified identity theft risk management specialist and speaks on the topic regularly. She holds 1 patent, 4 invention disclosures, and 2 inventions published related to speech recognition technology. She is based in Denver, Colorado. Hi, Ora.
Hi there. How are you doing?
I am doing great. And how are you this morning?
I'm good. Thank you.
Well, it has been, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going to show my screen. Hopefully everybody can see my screen now. And maybe, Amy, you can confirm that. And I'm setting it into presentation mode right now.
I can see your screen, yes.
Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining on this webinar. As everybody knows, identity theft is the #1 problem that we're seeing today, not only for the senior community, but all the way from children who are birthed out of hospitals all the way up to people that have already passed on. So this risk has become, this threat has become the biggest threat in the world, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about what it encompasses, and then how to deal with it. So as America's fastest growing white-collar crime, let's talk about how we can protect you and your family. My name is Ora DeMorrow, and I am out of Denver, Colorado. I've been an identity theft risk management specialist for the last 4 years. I come from the high-tech world, so this was a very near and dear to my heart from a technology perspective, since identity theft really became viral with the digital age. So the digital age has positive and negative, for all of us. So what we'll talk about is what is identity theft and what is the cost to us and the world at large. What legislation has been put in place to try and mitigate it somewhat, what the industry response is, and what the options are for us as consumers or individuals. So let's talk about the facts. Coming out of the news, what you're going to see, I'm not going to go into the details of this the article that you're seeing on the page right now. But what I am trying to portray here and have you understand is that you're going to see it, and you probably do see it every day in the newspaper. You hear it on the news. You see it on TV. Why? Because it is so easy for an identity thief to take one's identity and utilize it, that and so hard to get caught that it has become a self-perpetuating, the media has become a self-perpetuating marketing tool for folks like me who are working to protect you. And so this particular article talks about the DMV, which is the Motor Vehicles Association, And it's a great example of one of the most common attacks that you're going to see from an identity theft perspective, and that is hacking. So we have a lot of computer-savvy people of all types, ages, and nationalities that are hacking into systems such as the DMV, such as BJ wholesalers, such as Heartland payment systems, such as Visa, and taking that personal information that we provide to these entities to obtain our driver's license, to obtain credit cards, to obtain our Medicare card, and they utilize that information, our identities, to create new credit cards, new accounts, buy houses. It's a very, very scary concept. And so cases are soaring, and every day the incident is the rate rises. It is the #1 crime in the world, and the biggest moneymaker in the world. And as a matter of fact, the drug industry, the illegal drug industry, has actually resorted to identity theft as a form of payment rather than actual cash. So if anybody has seen the movie or the TV series, I like to use that as an example. In the last 2 years, that 5-year series, the mafia that was highlighted in that show really focused in on not the money that was transferred for the drugs and all of the bribery, but it was the number of credit cards and Social Security numbers that were traded between those hands and equivalent to money. So on the slides right now, you'll see what is identity theft. Identity theft, basically is not only your financial life being stolen, your credit cards being stolen, or somebody writing fraudulent checks in your name. It's so much more. It's not only about credit cards. That's only in the 40% or so of identity theft, believe it or not. As an example, medical identity theft is growing by leaps and bounds. What does that mean? That means that people who obtain your Social Security number, or even a driver's license of yours, can go into a hospital, check in, and get treated under your name. So what does that mean? Somebody that has AIDS, somebody that has diabetes, somebody that has type O blood when you have AB negative, go and get treated, and their records get overlaid on top of your medical records. This is a very, very scary concept. And so what is the potential outcome of that? Well, if you go in to get treated and suddenly your blood type has changed, it actually can be a deadly situation. My suggestion to you is, as a person that may go in for major surgery, make sure that you check your medical records first. Make sure that you have a good eye on what the hospital is seeing before you have major surgery. If you have a situation where you see that some of that information on your medical records is not yours, do not report that back to the hospital, because HIPAA, which is national legislation for privacy of information, states that you cannot look at anybody else's medical records. Suddenly, you're telling the hospital that that information is not yours. What happens? HIPAA ends up locking you out of your own medical records. Go back to your attorney. Contact somebody as a third party to get that rectified. Work with your identity theft services or solution providers. Get an identity theft shield, an ID watchdog, a LifeLock, or even an insurance provider that provides you with an identity service on top of your homeowner's insurance. Please make sure that you check that first. Additionally, if somebody utilizes your medical identity to get treated, and it's cancer, it's some other degenerative disease, it's drug addiction, your insurance can drop you immediately. They will. And so that's the last thing that we want, is to have our medical insurance dropped when we're in need. Other types of identity theft, Social Security identity theft, and I'll tell you a story about this. This is when somebody uses your Social Security number to obtain, say, a Medicare card or to obtain a job. I'll just tell you a little story. It can pretty much tell you how severe the problem is. My bank teller, who is not a client of mine, but she does have an identity theft service, her son turned 16, and when he turned 16, he decided he was going to get a job at the Target right around the corner. He applied for the job, provided his Social Security number on the application, and apparently Target already had record of him working there for many, many years in another Target. Somebody had actually stolen his Social Security number out of the hospital at birth 16 years prior and was using his identity. It's very, very common for young people to have their identity stolen because their credit histories are clear and pristine, ripe for the picking, and that is a very good example of that. Many of those people that use your Social Security numbers to get jobs, they get paid, they don't pay taxes, and suddenly tax liens show up on your Social Security number and your credit record. Driver's license identity theft is another very good example. People steal or overlay their own photographs on top of fake IDs, commit crimes in your name, skip town, get tickets, don't pay them, skip town. Driver's license identity theft is very, very common. And the first glimpse of that, even though students and kids didn't know it in the age of the 80s when they were modifying driver's licenses, that's a form of identity theft or identity fraud. And back then it wasn't such a prevalent problem, or at least it wasn't known to be. Now it's very common. If you ever have a situation where you're putting your photograph on the web, for instance on a Facebook page or a LinkedIn page or your website, make sure that you yourself or you have somebody that is pretty computer savvy to put a watermark on your photograph behind it, so that if anybody tries to download it and utilize it for their own purposes, that watermark shows that it is not a valid picture. So I have that on my own image on my website. You'll see a slight watermark, not for reproduction, on the back of my image.